Are you single, winky face? Are you taken? Do you have girlfriend? Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Alby Edited It. I'm Alby, and today I'm going to be showing you how I edited this crusty photo into this beautiful work of art. I'll also be answering all of your AMA questions that I didn't answer on Instagram already, including the juicy NSFW questions, so stick around for the full reveal tell-all Q&A. Alright, so first off, I was hoping for this to be like an edit with me style format, but very sadly my audio didn't go through, so I just am going to do a voiceover over the video that I already recorded. My original video had me sort of talking about the edits I was doing, but since that is no good, I'm just going to do the questions. I made a commitment to answer all questions, except for questions about other people, personal identifying information, and personal financial numbers. But aside from that, I'm basically answering everything. So watch as I edit this thirst trap photo and follow along. So I kind of organized these into several types of questions. Starts out with about me, and then it goes into stories, juicy stories, dating, sexual preference, and then some other random fun things. Age, height, weight, location, bi or gay, cry, smiley face. So I'm 32. I'm 178 centimeters. About 5'9" and a quarter, weight about 125, and when I have more weight, around 135. Location SoCal, and I identify as gay. What college did you go to? I went to Princeton in New Jersey. What's your job outside of being an influencer? So I don't really consider myself influencer. I'm more of like a content creator, but I guess technically I would kind of be interested in, you know, fitting into more of an influencer. But I feel like influencers are people who are promoting products and, you know, influencing people to have certain consumer behavior. And I don't think I'm really at that point or doing that. I'm mostly just sharing content and making content at the, right now. But I think I would be interested in kind of promoting certain things like that I make in the future. So we'll see. But yeah, if we want to be real about it, technically, yeah, I am an influencer. Anyway, I didn't answer this question. So what's your job outside of being an influencer? My day job is I'm a financial analyst, or I do financial analysis. Are you a model? I work with financial models, but I personally am not a professional model. No. Technically, I guess I am my own model on my Instagram page, and I model my own board games and other stuff, but not professionally. All right, story time. So first gay experience is the first question. So technically, I know this will sound scary, but my first gay experience is when I was 4 years old. And it's super not like, you know, like a crazy experience. So I was in preschool at the time. I think I was like 3 or 4, and it was nap time, and we were under, you know, we have our blankets and we're just sleeping, and me and this other boy were just like chuckling at each other, and then we like both pulled down our pants under the blanket and just like snickered at each other, and that was it basically. And I guess it's technically sort of a gay experience, but it's nothing crazy. All right, next one. Weirdest place you had sex. So that would probably be on a kitchen countertop. I also have another kind of crazy experience, which I'll share in another video. It's about a time when I was doing something, and then we didn't know that people were watching, and they applauded us afterwards. So check out my next video for that. Wildest experience / story. So that's definitely one wild experience, but the one that I want to focus on is a time that I seriously thought I was gonna die. So I was hiking at Zion with 3 other friends, and one person who was in the front kind of crossed this really steep section, and I was following along, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a try, and without really thinking much, I got stuck in this middle section where it was pretty steep, and I thought I could have just slipped if I continued trying, but it was a little bit too late to turn back because it was also very steep in the way that I came. And so I was just there for a really long time. Everyone was like worried about what to do, and I really thought like I was gonna die, and started thinking about like what's gonna happen, because if I just lost balance, grip, or even attempted and failed to cross, I would have fallen a really high fall, a really steep fall. Yeah. So to me, that's like a crazy experience. But more NSFW ones in future videos if you like them, of course. If you guys don't like this kind of content, then maybe I won't do it. Okay. Third category, dating. So you guys had the most questions in this category, but I put them all together for you. Are you single? Winky face. Are you single? No question mark. Are you taken? Do you have boyfriend? What is this? Speak no evil monkey emoji. Do you have girlfriend? So I answered the do you have girlfriend one on Instagram already. I just thought it was funny. I wanted to include it in here. And are you accepting BF applications? Hand covering mouth emoji. So I am technically single, yes. But I am seeing somebody that I like and have feelings for. He isn't ready to date, and I'm interested in dating him, so I guess we'll see what happens from there. So currently I am technically not single, taken, or have a boyfriend. Are you accepting BF applications? Not at the moment because of what I described. Okay, looks or brains? So I do value both strongly, especially brains in terms of having similar values, personality, and like just really syncing up like wavelength wise. But at the end of the day, if we're talking about dating, which this didn't specify, so I'm just gonna answer both. If we're talking about dating, then it would be looks, because I can connect brains wise, but then I wouldn't date you if we don't match up physically, right? At the end of the day, that's what it's a big part of finding a partner in a romantic sense. So looks would definitely be like a prerequisite, and I think brains can really help take it to the next level. Friends would definitely be brains. Okay, so red green flags. I haven't really answered this before, but I think this can go both ways. Like, what are my red green flags, like pros and cons, and then what are red green flags that I kind of look for or identify myself. So red flag for me, so a big thing is loyalty. And I actually already had practice because I already answered all these questions, so I kind of know what I'm going to say already. So something that I do look for, which is already answering this, is loyalty. I consider myself like a very loyal person, friend-wise and dating-wise. And I think that, there's good and bad to it. I think it also comes with being it can translate to being intense, which is something that I try to, work on as well. So what does stand out to me as kind of a red flag, and again, I'm pretty open-minded, so something that can seem like a red flag, I may, be very open to interpreting it differently once I get more information. But a red flag conventionally would be if somebody seems to be spread really thin, talking to a lot of people, kind of flirting with other people. One time I was at the club with somebody I was seeing, and I think he was like kind of drunk, and somebody came up to him and said he was cute, and I think he told the other person that he was cute first, and then so the other person gave him his phone to exchange Instagram, and he looked at me as if like, was that okay or not? And then I didn't say anything, and so then he like gave him his Instagram, and the next day he was like, who's this person? He like sent me a screenshot. Who's this person? And I was like, oh, that's somebody you gave your Instagram to last night. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna unblock, I'm gonna delete him or something like that, which seemed kind of strange that he would ask me and then do that on purpose. It seems like maybe he did remember and then felt bad about it, or I don't know, but that I would consider a red flag. And then kind of I would keep it in mind and keep going along, seeing if that's something that was like a one-off or if that really is kind of more typical. But on the flip side, for me, someone might say that I have similar red flags where I might be responding to people on Instagram and responding to comments, things like that. It is about really getting to know somebody and seeing if that really is kind of an issue and translates into, them actually something happening, right? So red flags, what other ones? So if we're talking about pros and cons, I would say if somebody is looking for a partner that's looking to play extreme sports and go do strenuous physical activity, I would consider myself like more of a homebody, more frail and not athletic. So of course I would be open to doing those things and interested, and I am interested in staying fit and all of that. But if my partner is looking for somebody to always keep up with that and isn't going to be considerate about my level of doing things, then it probably is not going to work out, or we would have to have a discussion on that. So I guess that's like a con for me if somebody is taking that into consideration. Green flags, I I don't know, I guess good grammar is one. If somebody has very basic level of grammar, it's already like, okay, I can continue talking to this person. You'd be surprised at all the bad grammar on Grindr and Jacked especially. And I mean, also look at this. Do you have boyfriend? Do you have girlfriend? Anyway, other green flags, I guess, like basic respectfulness and politeness, honesty, being considerate, little small gestures here and there. Like if we're playing board games, if somebody cleans up, helps clean up after board games, I think that's a really important green flag. If they don't, then that is definitely a red flag. Yeah, I think those are some main ones. I haven't really answered this before, so let me know if there's any specific things you want me to talk about. Let's move on to this next one. Last question, I promise. Who is your ideal BF/partner? And this really was their last question they asked. So I wrote a little blog entry reflection titled My Quote Unquote Perfect Guy. And it's in quotes because the first sentence of that entry is, my quote unquote perfect guy does not exist precisely because, and then it lists a bunch of kind of seemingly contradictory character traits, but it's really about like a balance of having good qualities but also being humble about them and seeing the good in people who don't necessarily have those qualities or have a different version of those qualities. So for example, my perfect guy does not exist precisely because he's smart and intelligent but isn't so ambitious and driven that he's consumed by work and still understands how I'm smart in my way, right? So that's a good example of how, smart and intelligent could be a good quality, but a lot of times people who might be very ambitious and driven about career and kind of neglect personal life. I'm not saying always, right? But just there's a high correlation for people who are, I guess, more driven in that sense and then still understands how I'm smart in my way. So yeah, if someone's smart, they might have the feeling that other people might not be at their level. But for me, I feel like smartness can present itself in different ways. I may be, I don't know, book smart and someone else might be street smarts, and I would still see the value in that. And I think what it boils down to is an awareness and being able to see the value in different things and respect that and appreciate that. And so that's like in other traits as well, like being funny, being good looking, being organized and clean. Like here, one of these things I put, he's clean, hygienic, and well-groomed, but doesn't get on my case if I'm slightly messy here and there. So that's like, if I'm kind of disorganized when I'm working through a project or something, like they're not going to be super, anal about that. So that's what I, noticed, right? Some people, they may be really organized and clean in that sense, and then also very controlling of other people being that way too. So that's why I started this out with, my perfect guy does not exist, right? Because you're not going to find people with 100% perfect balance in all these traits. But that's the question. Who is your ideal? So that's what it is. And I have a whole list. So if you're interested, I can share more. But I won't get into too much detail because I know you are just dying for the next category, which is Seggsual Preference. Yes, with the 2 G's. I am very pleasantly surprised, actually, that you guys asked top or bottom or verse instead of the classic top or bottom. So I guess you guys either know that or finally are, like, yes, there's verse, or you think that I'm verse. That's why you're putting it in there. So for me, my answer is mostly top. But I am psychologically verse, I would say. In Chinese, 0 stands for bottom, 1 stands for top, and 0.5, I guess, can be used for verse, like half. I would consider myself 0.9. Are you into Asian top, singular? So I am. So if there's an attractive person who is Asian and a top, which I am attracted to both Asians and people who give off traditionally top vibes, actually. Yeah, I can be attracted to an Asian top. All right, let's move on. That's my sexual preference. And nobody asked anything else, so too bad. I was going to answer anything. Okay, so these next ones are kind of loosely different category questions, so I'm just going to go through them. The first one is read me, which is somebody asked me, what's your impression of me? So I'm going to do that later. I'm going to try a video record because it's just going to be easier to do it that way. So I can show pictures of his Instagram and give an impression. So I'll get back to that. But the next question is about regrets. So coming back to story time, do you have any regrets? And the answer is yes. Most of my regrets actually revolve around my mother, and during the time she was in her last days when she was in the hospital in Taiwan. So she was in the hospital for a year and a half, and during that time, my biggest regrets are, I guess, not doing things better when I could have. So for example, there was one night I remember I had kind of prepared. I was going to stay over that night at the hospital. I had brought like extra clothes, a towel, all of that. And then, but then she told me like, oh, you don't have to stay. I was like, oh, okay. So I went back because I was staying at my aunt's place. My aunt wasn't there, so our place was empty and I was staying there. There's more amenities, I guess. And so I felt like, oh, she was saying it's okay. So I just, went back. But I found out later that she didn't have a very good night there, and I definitely would have wished to have spent that time with her that night. And it was, really just shortly before she started kind of losing consciousness as well. So yeah, I really regret that because I was really on the fence. Regrets to me are when I'm really on the fence about making a decision, and then I make a decision that I wished I didn't make. Usually I don't regret things because either I don't have enough information at that time, or I'm in a certain mindset or in a certain mood that it just wouldn't have been possible to make another decision. Another one is regarding my mom. When I was in I think elementary or middle school, I went to this annual church camp, and they usually takes place around the time of my birthday. And so she and my dad kind of surprise showed up. Well, they also told me in advance, but I was like, oh, don't come. But they surprise showed up to, take me out for my birthday. But I was like really wanted to get the full experience of the church camp. And I was like, that's when I was really into, church stuff back then. And so she had opened her arms and she was smiling and like for me to give her a hug. And I was like being all moody and pissy. But I was also kind of like, oh, like, when I saw her. But I would say I was kind of on the fence of like, how I should react to that. But yeah, that one was a little bit harder in terms of my mindset at the time to go the other way. It's just something I wish I would have been more positive about. Okay, well, enough about regrets. Time for complaint. So I did receive a complaint in my AMA. Why would you say that you're bad at replying? Well, I wouldn't say that, but I think it's trying to say, why am I bad at replying? I've DM'd you and nothing, ... So, okay, yeah. I think I'm pretty good at replying. I'm typically quite responsive, but on Instagram, I do have like a message request section where a lot of spam goes, where people, like, if they're just like fake accounts trying to ask for promotions or just asking random questions, I get a lot of spam. So I don't always respond to those. So maybe if you're real, like maybe it went to the message request and I just didn't see it. I also have like a primary and general inbox, so maybe it went to general. But I would say if the account looks like it's a real account, I typically am like quite responsive. So yeah, maybe I'll go look back and see where your message is. But yeah, look, I did respond though. Am I that bad? Okay, and shout outs. So a couple people they didn't ask a question, they just said hi. Here, not a question, just wanted to say that you're amazing. I don't know how you think that. Maybe you think my photos are amazing? If so, thank you. I have some more other questions. This one also a non-question or a not qualifying response. It says, what's your SSN? And like I already said in my AMA, excludes questions about other people, personal identifying info, and personal financial numbers. So this is a personal identifying info. So sorry, disqualified. All right. The inevitable, I was like kind of regretting I did not add this next question in my exclusions, but I'm going to keep my word and answer. So my dick question. How big is your dick? Eyes emoji. Wow, you threw that eyes emoji right back at me. And are you cut or uncut? How big is your dick? Eyes emoji. And are you cut or uncut? I am 5ish by 5ish and cut. There it is, all on the internet for everyone to hear forever. Well, it's buried between all these other questions, so if you made it this far, I guess you deserve to know. All right, next question. Meet. Were you happy to finally meet me? So this is a question asked by Jimmy, and he was visiting from Canada. And so we met up at Asian Night Market, 606 Night Market, over the weekend, this past weekend. Yeah, it was nice meeting you. We had a good time. And I was there with some of my friends. He brought a friend as well. And everything was overpriced, smoky, and loud, but you know, it's an experience. Lastly, I have some solicitations. Solicitations to meet. Hey cutie, see no evil monkey emoji. Can I hit you up? When would you like to hang out? Kiss face emoji with heart. Want to meet up! Exclamation points. Want to go on a date? Okay, so can you hit me up? I mean, anybody can send me a DM, but if it's gonna be in a flirty way, then you know, I do have somebody I like right now, so not in that way, but as friends, yes. When would you like to hang out? If it's as friends, I'm free on weeknights, usually after dinner, and also weekends. Some weekends. Depends on what you want to do. Want to meet up? It depends on, depends on what you want to do. Like I said, I'm a homebody, so it will depend because I like being at home. Want to go on a date? No, not. I'm gonna have to pass. Also because I am interested in somebody. Oh, shoot. I do have one more thing. All right, I'm back with the Instagram for Eto Dong. Eto. He is the one who asked me, what's your impression of me? So I went through his Instagram and I've concluded that he has, you know, pretty good photos. And he seems like a good-looking guy who is adventurous, confident. I do think he has sort of a, let me see. There's a couple of photos like this one. Yeah, this was a great example. This photo is an outlier from his sort of more soft look. This is more like a and I think I'm getting like raunchy vibes. So I think there's a little bit of raunchiness, especially right here. This one, definitely like a little bit of fuckboy raunchy look. So yeah, I think he is a confident guy who can also be a little playful in the raunchy sense. But yeah, good photos. We like added each other a while back, but we don't know each other in person. But yeah, seems like he has a pretty good Instagram travels. I think this is the museum in Japan. I don't know, but yeah, it looks cool. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this AMA. I've answered all of your questions. If I didn't, let me know in the comments below. And if you want me to answer more questions, put them there and I'll look to answer them in future videos. My Insta is at alby. Thanks for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.